Hello, my love, and welcome back to another episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you are having the best day of your whole entire life. And you know the drill. If you are not, I'm just sending you the biggest hug and so much love. And I hope that you are trusting that this too shall pass. I am feeling a lot better. Still struggling though with stuffiness now, which is really starting to get on my nerves. It's like, ugh, can this sickness just completely go away? That would be very fantastic. I would deeply, deeply appreciate that. But I'm very excited for today's Join Jessica episode, where we are going to talk about opportunities for you to come closer into my world if you so desire to have me as your coach, because duh, why would you not? I got the best message from a client this morning. She is a private client. She actually signed up for the Through the Finish Line bundle. So we are doing private coaching in November and December together. She is just a dream client. She is amazing. She's going through some things in her personal life. She signed up to work with me for business coaching. And if you missed some of the things that she said about me, she's just like, you're a genius. Oh my God, you're so smart. And I'm like, well, duh, I've built this, of course. But she's going through some things in her personal life. And this morning I sent her a message and I just said, I want you to know that I'm here to support you as the human behind the business too. And I know that I've talked about it a bunch on the podcast, but I really do pride myself in being a business coach who cares so much about the human behind the business. I care that you are okay behind your business, that you are happy, that you are fulfilled, that you are working through the mind drama, that the relationships that you have in your life are healthy, that you have boundaries, that you have emotional intelligence. I care so much about you, and I want your business to thrive, and I also want you to thrive. And she messaged me back and she was just like, I was watching your stories today and I just have to say, I'm so happy that I signed up with you because you really are the total package. I've had coaches in the past who would only talk to me about business or who would only talk to me about life coaching. And I'm so appreciative that you're willing to be a coach for all of me, the human and the business that I am building. And I hope that you know, if you come into my world in any capacity, I care about you so much and I want to see you happy and thriving. And if you got a business, then I want to see you selling and making money, honey. Anywho, I am very excited to share this conversation that I have on the podcast today with my client, Nicole. She is an incredible client who was a part of my business mastermind for over a year. I met her at the in-person retreat that I did in Arizona. She has just transformed before my eyes. The way that this woman has just become a whole new woman. I don't even recognize her. It is just unbelievable. The confidence that she has, the business that she has built, the woman that she is. I am so incredibly proud of her. And I'll be sharing that conversation with her very, very shortly. But first, how can you work with me if you so desire? I want to let you know, first and foremost, that if you are looking for epic sales, you're going to want to pay attention to next Wednesday's podcast episode, because on that episode, your girl is going to be dropping all the Black Friday deets and you're getting them before anybody else. That is my thank you for being a podcast listener. You're going to get first access to the Black Friday sales, which I am very, very, very excited about. Lots of massive savings on previously recorded courses and masterclasses, and we're bringing some goodies out to play. Hint, hint, some goodies that got my clients 10K launches. We're bringing all the good stuff back. I'm very, very excited. It's going to be amazing. That will be on next week's podcast episode on Wednesday. But today we have Committed AF, the masterclass, which if you missed it, we have scheduled that masterclass for November 21st and November 23rd, $20.23. I think we're just going to leave the price point there, guys, because it feels so good and so in alignment. If you want to stay committed to yourself and your goals throughout the holiday season, you're not ready to just say, oh, screw it, I'll start in 2023. And you want to step into the new year committed and know how to maintain that level of commitment, like Committed AF. If you want to stay committed AF to yourself and your goals, this is a no-brainer opportunity for you to come closer in my world. Also, the women who are a part of that masterclass are going to get first access to Q1 bundles, which I'm just going to say, my biggest and best mindset programs are coming back in 2023. quarter one. Let's go. We are going to give you the mindset makeover that you have been waiting for. I'm so excited to bring back some of my biggest signature courses in the first quarter of 2023. And if you are a part of Committed AF, you're going to get first access to those. But the primary thing that I want to talk to you guys about today is the total package, because we are starting on Sunday. Doors to our Voxer group chat are opening on Sunday, and I literally cannot wait. Feel like a kid on Christmas just waiting for Sunday to get here, because it is going to be so amazing. There are 10 incredible humans already inside of the total package, which, if you have missed it, this is the completely revamped, rebranded Spark Mastermind. I have changed my Spark Mastermind to the total package. So this is high level business coaching with me, where you are going to get access to dozens and dozens and dozens. Wait, I actually have it in front of me. Let me pull it up and see if I can very quickly count how many trainings you're going to get access to. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 40 plus. Because this is not even all of them, 40 plus trainings that are going to help you master the mindset and strategy of building a 6-figure coaching business in the online space. I'm giving you access into my mind and the brain that has built a $1.6 million coaching business. I'm giving you all of it. And not only are you getting access to all of the trainings and teachings, but you are also getting access to one-on-one coaching with me inside of the Voxer and the calls. There are 3 really important components of the total package. Number 1 is the trainings, where you are going to get access to literally 40 plus. I think it's probably going to be around 50 total trainings on all things: confidence, success, work-life balance, niche, ideal client, content, story content, feed content, offers, pricing, money mindset, communication, launching, sales, simplifying your marketing, client journey, product suite, boundaries, emotional intelligence, everything. Guys, y'all, I named this the total package for a reason. But this is not just about the access to the trainings that you get. This is also about the Voxer and the calls, where you get to have coaching from me. Let's just say, for instance, you're working on creating better content on social media, and you're like, I don't know what to post. You go watch my training titled, I Don't Know What to Post, where I teach you how to never, ever run out of content ideas for social media again. But you're like, wait, I still have questions. You get to pick up your phone and come into Voxer, and you get to press the talk button and say, hey, Jessica, I've just listened to the I Don't Know What to Post training, and I'm getting ready to implement, but I have a question. I'm not sure how to do this thing on Canva, or I'm not sure what slide I should put first, or I'm not sure how exactly to engage my ideal client so that they actually engage with my piece of content. Can you help? And I'm going to be there to help you. Let's just say you're creating your first ever group coaching program, and you're like, I have a million ideas, but I don't know how to start. You come in and say, hey, Jessica, I'm building my first group coaching program. Help me with this course. These are all of my ideas. I need help putting them together. I'm going to be there to give you the coaching. Do you know how many offers and programs I have created? Dozens. I don't even know, because I've lost count. For 3 years, I have been successfully building a business. And I want to help you do the same. You get to come to me with your questions. But not only do you get the trainings and the teachings and the access to me so you can ask your questions, but one of the best parts is the sisterhood that you get to be a part of. Imagine yourself in a room, a virtual room, surrounded by women who are also building their coaching businesses alongside you. Women at all stages, women who are on day 1, women who are in year 1, women who are in year 2, women who, just like you, want to become successful AF as coaches in the online space. Not only do you get coaching that I give to you, but you also get to hear the coaching that I give to every other woman in that room. Do you know how priceless this is? You don't even have to ask a question ever. And you can leave the mastermind like, holy crap, my entire life has changed. I've been in a mastermind for 2+ years, and I cannot imagine not having access to a woman whose brain has built a multi-million-dollar business, plus every other woman in that room who brings knowledge and questions and thoughts and conversations. Like I talked about on one of the morning messages. Oh, you haven't heard it yet. It's actually tomorrow, so we won't spoil that for you. But if you listen to tomorrow's morning message and you're like, I want that, the total package is the place that you need to be. You deserve to be surrounded by people who empower you to be your best self, period. You deserve to be supported in building your business, period. It doesn't matter what stage you're at. There are women in this mastermind who invested to be in this space who have no idea what they're even going to be doing in their coaching business yet. They are on day literally 1, but they have made that investment. There are so many women who I know listen to this podcast, who are in my audience, who watch every day, who would be perfect for this space. And if you feel like I'm calling you out, I am calling you out. If you feel like that is meant for you, it was meant for you. If you know that you're meant to be here, send me a message and let's get you inside of the total package. 10 weeks together. We're going to finish this year strong. We're going to step into 2023 together, and you're going to have built such beautiful momentum, everything that you need to become wildly successful in your coaching business in the online space. I hope that listening to this conversation that I have with Nicole that I'm about to share with you, you will realize how impactful a space like this can be. Your entire life can change, much like Nicole's did. And she says that, not me. Her entire life changed because she shared this mastermind with me. And I hope that you will allow yourself that opportunity to have your entire life and your business changed for the better because you decide to say yes to an opportunity that you know your heart wants so badly. Okay, so that is it. We have Committed AF, the masterclass. Link is in the show notes, and the total package. If you want to be in the total package, send me a message and we will get you inside so that we can start together on Sunday. I cannot wait. Keep your eyes out next Wednesday for Black Friday deals. It's going to be so much fun. And I hope that you enjoy this conversation with my beautiful client, Nicole. She is such an incredible soul. I will put all of the ways that you can connect with her in the show notes of this episode. I hope that you love her as much as I do. She is such an incredible human being, and I am so grateful for the work that we have gotten to do together over the last 2+ years. She has literally transformed before my eyes, and I'm just so happy, and I'm so proud of her. Nicole, if you are listening, I love you so much, and I am so proud of you, so grateful for everything that we have shared together. And when you tell me that I have changed your life, I know that you mean it. And I am so, so grateful that I've been able to be a part of your life, your story, your business, and your journey. All right, you guys, enjoy the conversation. I love you so much. And I will talk to you on the next episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. See ya. Hello, my loves, and welcome to our next JJXO interview on the JJXO series on the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. I am so excited. Like literally, I wish people could see the smile on my face. I'm so excited to be talking to my client, Nicole, today, who is a mindset and life coach for entrepreneurs. Did I get that right?
You did.
Amazing. I'm so happy that you are here. Nicole has been working with me for about 2 years, and we've worked together in literally all of the capacities. Like there was a time where anything I put out, Nicole was like, I'm in it, I'm in it, I'm in it. Like sign me up. Didn't need the details, didn't need to know what she was going to get. She was just like, you're doing it. I want to be a part of it. And Nicole's story is similar to many of my clients, but interesting in a way that I think a lot of people don't necessarily think people will hire coaches this way. So Nicole reached out to me probably, maybe 3 years ago. How long do you think it was before you actually signed up for MBS that you sent me that original message?
It was probably 2.5 years ago that I initially reached out to you.
Yeah. So about 6 months before Nicole ever hired me, the first program you took with me was MBS, which was amazing. And before she signed up for that session of MBS, she reached out to me and you sent me just a regular DM, right? And I know I responded with a video and I was like, Nicole, I'm so excited that you reached out to me. I would love to help you inside of MBS. And then it was crickets. Like she didn't even respond to me. And I was like, oh, my feelings are kind of hurt, as they can be as coaches. We're like, we really want to help people. And then they just kind of ghost us. But then you came back about 6 months later and you were in my world, like in everything for a solid 2 years. And we're still working together now, doing programs here and there. And I just love you and adore you. And I feel like our connection is even closer because we spent such a beautiful time together at the retreat last year. How special. We got to like hug each other and cry together. And just, I have so many beautiful memories that include you, and you will live in my heart forever. So I'm just so, so happy that you are here. So why don't you introduce yourself to my audience, let them know who you are and what you do, and anything else that you want to share about yourself.
Okay, amazing. I'm so excited to be here. And just to touch on that like ghosting thing, I'm sure we'll talk about this again, but it just got too real, I was like, holy shit, I'm not ready. But I am Nicole. I am a mindset and life coach for entrepreneurs. And what I really specialize in doing is helping my clients build a business that they love, doing it their way, and enjoy their life as an entrepreneur. So much goes into that, as you know, but that's how I kind of like to introduce what I do. And people who get how important that is to really enjoy the journey, like it speaks to them, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. How long, from your own experience, I think this is a good conversation. How long do you think it takes for people to get to the point where they really understand, like, being successful in entrepreneurship is about so much more than strategy? Because I think in the beginning, we're all so gung-ho and like, just teach me how to do it. And then you're like doing all the things and you're like, fuck, I actually hate my life. I hate the way that I'm showing up. I'm neglecting myself. Like, I'm neglecting my family. I'm ignoring the people that I care about because we're just so obsessed with the business. How long do you think it takes people to realize like a successful business actually starts with a successful, fulfilled, happy human being behind the business?
That's such a good question. I can only answer from my experience, right? Like it took me probably a year, I would say, into your mastermind for it to really click. And it's so easy in the beginning to get caught up in comparison to and what we see being celebrated, especially in the online space. And we make that our definition of success. And I think I had a very pivotal moment, probably 6 months into our work together, where I realized like, oh, fuck, I get to define what success means to me. But it took probably another 6 months of really working on that intentionally to understand that you have to love the journey.
Yeah. In everything that you do in entrepreneurship and beyond, you really do have to love the journey that you're on, and doesn't mean every day is going to feel fantastic and you're going to want to do things all of the time, but the strategy that you're taking and the approach that you choose to get what you want, I think about this all the time. We don't deserve to be miserable every day of our lives in pursuit of achieving something that we think is going to be the golden ticket to making us happy, because it's not going to be. So it's like, we have to find happiness and joy in the journey every single day. And we've talked a ton about defining our own version of success in our work together. And you were with me when I was going through that myself, and like my own vision of success getting clouded by what I saw in the online space. And it's so easy for that to happen, where it's like, this is the only way that I get to be defined as successful, is if I'm here income level wise. And it's like, I never even wanted that before I saw other people doing it. So why am I now telling myself that that's what success means?
Yeah, I love that so much. And I agree. Like, that's why I've really centered my work around helping people with that and understanding that, because as soon as you can tap into really understanding that, I feel like the game changes and you just enjoy your business so much more in a new way, and you feel so free in it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if we can help people understand that sooner, like how much better would that be for everyone that's affected?
Yeah, absolutely. I say all of the time that I am very aware of how fortunate I am for the way that my business started, because it wasn't, I decided today I'm going to start my business and here I am starting my Instagram account. I was doing the business things, building a community, posting on Instagram, creating content, nurturing my audience. I was doing all of those things before I even wanted to have a business. So I was in a really good position where there was no expectation of how quickly things were going to happen, because I wanted to do them anyway. And I think it's easy for coaches in the online space to see women really successful and think like, oh, all I have to do is show up on Instagram and post and create content and I'm going to have a successful business. But it's like, there's going to be a period of time where the success doesn't feel like it's happening, but you still have to show up and do it. So you have to really love the things that you're doing to create the result that you want.
Yeah, I think that's something I'm so grateful for, that part of your story too, because thinking about our time together, like I could not have been, and I've told you this a million times, I could not have been alongside a better coach, because you always kept me grounded. And I think for all of us, you tried to keep us all grounded in, like, you have to really see the success in your everyday and how you're showing up. And I'm so grateful for that, because I carry that with me even now. And it really does. It makes such a big difference.
Yeah, I love that. I think this is really beneficial for people to understand who maybe haven't worked with a coach yet. You said that's something that I still carry with me now. So we've been together inside of programs of mine, but you haven't been in my business mastermind since the end of the first quarter this year. Can you talk about what you carry from our time together so intimately, what you carry with you in your life? Because I think people tend to forget. Are you going to start crying?
Cry. Yes.
Like, she's like waving at her face, like, are you going to cry? Don't cry. But I think people tend to think like, I come into your world and I work with you for 3 months and that's all I get is those 3 months. But it's like, I'm going to carry the things that my coach Stephanie has taught me. I'm going to carry those with me for the rest of my life. Like, the things that she has said to me, the woman that she has helped me become, the way she has empowered me, the leadership that she has embodied, like, those aren't things that when our 3 months or a year together come to an end, it's just like, oh, that was a fun time. It's like those things live on in you. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. Let's see if I can do it without crying.
Okay. We love tears in the JJXO world. You know that.
Yes, we do. We do. So for me, like, my experience with you, it was really about, like, you helped me lay the foundation of the woman that I am now. And so much of what is still within me. And I think it's really important for people to hear too, like, you have to show up as the client, like how involved I was in the mastermind and how I really showed up in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, my biggest takeaways were that I am so heart-centered in my work. And that's one value of how I define success, right? But that hasn't changed within me. And I've only just built off of that. And the self-confidence that you've helped me build when we had our time together, it's just building off of that foundation that we created together.
I love that so much, because again, it goes back to, I think, what successful coaches and entrepreneurs in general think is required to be successful. Yes, the strategy matters, but the person that you are matters so much more, because it's going to be very difficult to make money in the online space if you're lacking confidence and belief in yourself. Because if you lack confidence and belief, you're going to hide and you're going to shut down and you're going to retreat and you're not going to allow people to see you. And if every time you have a limiting belief that you believe is true, you're again going to start hiding and doubting yourself and not showing up. So it's like, the success that we want, yes, matters how we show up, but you can know how to do all of the things. But if you're not a woman that can actually follow through and do them, all of the strategy in the world is not going to help you become successful.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually just sharing that in Clubhouse earlier, that, what we learn and what we really take in is like 10% of it, but 90% is really taking the action. And something I think you do so well with your clients and in your spaces is you really do look at the human as a whole. So we were having conversations about my marriage and about me juggling motherhood and my corporate job and building my business. Like, you really helped me embody things as a whole, as a woman, not just as someone who has a business.
Yeah, because I don't see, I know from my own experience that I would not be able to have the business that I have if behind the scenes I was broken or hurting or struggling in my marriage or not taking care of myself. I wouldn't be able to show up the way that I do. And I know that I first deserve to be happy and successful within myself. And my business is a beautiful extension of me and it deserves to thrive. But I just see the human first and foremost as the most important part of the success, because we all know you can have all of the things in the world, but if you don't feel good within yourself, none of that shit matters.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I see you really like sharing that message more and more.
Yeah.
I felt like you really shared it obviously with us, like as your high level clients, but seeing you share it more and more on like Instagram and social media, which you always done it, but I feel like you're starting to do it in a more bold way, like really talk about like, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
It's such an incredible way to use your platform too, because so many people are part of your community watching you.
Mm-hmm. I think, it's like we tend to think that when you get to a certain level of success, like the learning and the fear and the finding yourself is just like over. I'm still finding who I am in the online space, because as you know, when you have a mentor, and especially in a mastermind setting, masterminds are a beautiful, beautiful place to be. But sometimes there's so much noise around you that you're like, who am I supposed to be? Like, who actually am I? And it requires a period of like tuning out all of the noise and turning inward and saying like, who actually am I and what do I stand for? And how can I be comfortable enough standing for that, not just with the people who I know love me and with the people who I know have hired me to hear who I really, really am, but with the entire world. And I feel like I'm stepping, like you said, even more into a level of being comfortable with exactly who I am in the online space and exactly what business mentorship looks like for me, because it's not similar. Like my coach is very much the strategy of things. I'm so different than that. So it's like, I wanted to build a business like hers, but now I realize like, that's not me. I have to find my way and be so comfortable and confident in who I am and what I stand for, that translates not just in my close, intimate, closed containers, but in my social media presence with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that. Like I see you stepping more and more into that. And that was probably my biggest, if I had to say like one of the biggest takeaways from working with you, it was really stepping into my power in that way. Like, all the conversations we've had about the difficult conversations I've had to have to advocate for myself and what I want for my life and my business. And you helped me really step into that again after losing it with everything that I had gone through, with
Yeah.
depression and my issues in my marriage. And you really helped me get back to myself and build from there.
That makes me so happy. Are you comfortable talking about, so you haven't shared too much of your story, but you left your corporate job over a year ago now at this point to run your business full time, which is amazing and incredible. And you're still here making it, thriving in your life, in your business, which is so incredible. But can you, if you're comfortable, and if not, we can cut this out of the podcast episode, but you did not always have the most supportive partner in making some of the decisions that you've made. Not that he doesn't support you and love you, but I'm the same way. My husband has not always been the most supportive in the financial decisions that I have wanted to make within my business. Are you comfortable talking at all about what that experience was like for you and how you were able to communicate with him in a way where you're respectful of your marriage and you honor your marriage, but you also know that coaching is important for you and you were in a place where it mattered a lot for you to make that investment in yourself? Are you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, I think that's a really good conversation.
Yeah.
Good thing he's not on social media. He's not into
We won't
podcasts.
hear this.
We can just talk shit about him. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But yeah, I had some really difficult conversations with my husband. First of all, he doesn't understand the online space and that coaching. He doesn't understand this industry, which makes sense. He's not a part of it. But he also could not fathom investing in myself and my business, especially with someone who I met online.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, it was just like, his mind was blown that I would even think about doing that.
Yeah.
And I really had to learn how to advocate for what I wanted. And like you said, really balancing listening to him and having empathy for where he was at, like meeting him where he is
Yeah.
and understanding like he doesn't get it. And even like I can hear your voice now in my head saying like he doesn't have to understand, right?
Yeah.
That's different than supporting you. And I'm so grateful that I had those challenges to have to talk to him about why this is important to me, because he would always meet me with, well, what's the ROI? Like, what are you going to make on the other side of this investment? And having to tell him, I have no idea. Like you can imagine where that conversation goes, but I think it just strengthened our marriage, to be honest. Like he is a partner with me in this journey of building my business, and to be able to have those really hard conversations and sometimes let it end at we don't agree, but he's going to support me. And there's been times where we don't agree and I don't get what I want. I'm using air quotes. I don't get to make the investment that I want, but that's marriage. It's all about finding a compromise that everyone can really be okay walking away with.
Yeah.
And every time I have those conversations, I think we both grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this conversation so much. And I've talked about it a little bit openly, but I've talked a lot about it with my clients, and you were a part of a lot of those conversations in my own experience with my husband being very, very similar and not being understanding and not even wanting to be supportive. And honestly, he even said to me not too long ago, I don't know what you pay that girl in Canada for. Like he literally said like something along those lines. Like, I don't know what you paid her for. Like, I don't know what she does for you. I'm like, they can't understand it. And we have to create that separation of like, you're not going to get it. And I'm okay with that. And not trying to like force our perspective and narrative down their throat and try and make them like be completely on board, because it's not their job to be on board. If my husband came home and talked to me about something at his job, I'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So why do I expect him to understand the ins and outs of this industry and what I'm doing and why I'm making investments? But I think it's such an important conversation because there are so many women who want to invest in themselves, whether it's in the business space, which at least then there's some kind of idea of an ROI, right? Financially. But when we invest in like, say, MBS, for instance, or a mindset course, how do you put into words what the ROI is going to be on that? And how do you tell your spouse, like, I'm going to invest $2,000 in this course and it's not going to help me make a penny, but it's going to help me feel better. And that matters to me. Like most people are not prioritizing feeling good. So how do you explain that?
Yeah, I think it takes practice, right? Like practice talking about it, and also like letting your action speak for itself. I have had so many conversations too with my mom around this, and having to navigate these conversations with Cody and then talking to her about it. And she would always remind me, like, it's so palpable, like who you're becoming and how you're changing. We can all see it, even if, especially in the beginning, when it wasn't translating to like dollar signs in my business. At the end of the day, like so much of our growth has to be in who we're becoming, whether that's for our business or for our personal life or whatever. And I think part of this is just advocating for yourself, but then also allowing there to be space for them to see, like your partners to see how you change. And maybe that won't change their mind. But again, at the end of the day, that's not always the point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just going to ask, like, when you make that investment in yourself, it's easier for people to understand what the result is when you are evidence of the result and you're showing up differently in your life and you're taking care of yourself differently and you're being a better wife and a better mom and a better partner and a better friend, a better whatever that is. When we show people the investment was worth it, they'll start to understand because they recognize you different. And people don't understand like who you are in your life is impacting, especially people in your household. It's impacting the way that they feel. When you improve your emotional intelligence and your communication and your mindset and your perspective, that's going to affect your children and your husband and your marriage and all of those things. So we get to be the evidence for them that the investment was worth it and it does matter and it is important to us.
Yeah, I think this is too, it's so important. This is why it's important to build a community around you of like-minded people, whatever that looks like. If you're working on your wellness journey or your business, having people who get it is invaluable, right? And that's another one of my biggest takeaways from being in your space. I still have mastermind sisters that I'm connected with and I talk to every day, who I can't maybe go to my husband and talk about what's going on in my business because he'll be like, what's the problem? But someone who is an entrepreneur and who gets it, and especially the ones that are moms, like it's like I have that space to be really seen and understood, and that's invaluable.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask if you would share your experience inside of the Spark Mastermind, because what I've done is I've rebranded the Spark Mastermind to the Total Package, because I I don't want to run business courses where the only focus is strategy. I want there to be a place where people can plug into the strategy, but have the conversations about the human behind actually taking action on the strategy. So it's been the last half of this year has been really me figuring out what does business mentorship in a high level look like for me. But I know that you experienced such a beautiful, we both did inside of the Spark Mastermind, such a beautiful space. And the friendships and connections and sisterhood in there, I think is unlike anything I've ever seen or created in any other space because of the conversations and the vulnerability that happened. Like every woman in that space was so open to sharing, not just about business, but about having the hard conversations with spouses, about being single moms who are struggling to raise their kids, about navigating co-parenting with ex-partners, like so navigating conversations with parents about investing in themselves, like so many just real, raw, beautiful conversations that happened in that space that I will remember forever. Would you talk a little bit about your experience in that space and what it's like to be with me inside of a mastermind setting where you get the real one-on-one personalized support?
Now you're really going to make me cry. Yes, I would love to talk about that. I mean, so much of it was that community that we built together and that we still all have. We're all connected with each other in some way. But again, it was also about having such a safe space. And you do this so well in all of your spaces. They are so safe. And I don't know how you have the magic of doing that. Like if more people could create that, imagine how different things would be. But you have the magic of really creating that safe space for people to come in and be themselves and really put their heart out there, whatever it is that they're going through or struggling with, even if that means having conversations about being triggered by one another as we're building our businesses, which came up in the mastermind several times, in the mastermind and outside of the mastermind. But it was always just such a safe space to come in and really stretch yourself, like really grow. And you just have that magic of the safe space, but also the women who want to do that work and show up to do it. And again, it really did. It laid the foundation for my entire business of how I carry myself through my business and how I really even emotionally and mentally support myself through my business. All of that was built inside of the Spark Mastermind.
Now you're going to make me cry.
Don't you do it.
Like, okay, I need a minute.
That was just like a 30-second snapshot of how powerful that space was.
I know it really, I really do. One of the things I am so proud of, I know that I am incredibly intelligent and I can teach my clients so much, but one of the things that I'm most proud of is the community that I create for the women who come into my world and their ability to share things that they've never shared before and that they're not comfortable sharing with friends or with family, and to trust me and being a person that can be a sounding board and a leader for them in that. It just is like sometimes overwhelming for me in the most beautiful way. But you said something at the end there that I think is really powerful. You said like, I'm able to shift feelings within myself. I don't know exactly what you said, but you're able to have that mindset and have that emotional intelligence within yourself where you can do a lot of self-coaching. And I think that a lot of people look at coaching as like, my coach is a crutch for being the person who I can rely on 24/7, 100% of the time to support me. And while we get to be that, my goal as a coach, and I believe your goal as a coach, is to build the women who we work with into leaders of their own, who can process through hard things without needing me, who can lead themselves to better choices and decisions without needing me to encourage them to do that. And to hear you say that you're able to do that for yourself is like, I don't want my clients to always need to stay with me. I want them to go out after our time together and fuck shit up and like do the best that they can for the world and themselves because of what they learned during our time together. And to hear you doing that just makes me like so happy.
Yeah. And I think, you're taking me back to when my time in the Spark Mastermind ended and how bittersweet it was. And I remember saying to you, like, I'm ready to fly. Like I'm going to cry just thinking about it, just how prepared I felt to really take on this challenge of being an entrepreneur and building a business. It's not easy. And to do that with support or without support, like you need support of some sort. But it was so bittersweet because I knew like you and I had built me into the woman who was ready to go do it, you know? Don't.
This conversation, I was saying to Nicole before we started recording, this idea of bringing my clients on was like a spur of the moment type of thing. And you know me very well. When I have an idea, I'm like, I'm either going to run with it or it's going to sit dormant and I'm never going to do it. And I was like, fuck it. We're running with this. Like, let's do it. And now I think you're my fifth or sixth conversation with clients. And I'm just like, if you're a coach listening to this, I encourage you, find a way to connect with the women who you are working with currently or who have worked with in the past, because my heart, like in this past week, has just been overflowing with like, the work that you do matters so much. And I think entrepreneurship can be so challenging and so hard sometimes that we tend to forget like what we're really doing in this world. And it makes me emotional because sometimes I'm so like in being in the business and running the business and being the coach that it's hard to take a step back and recognize like, oh, look at what you're really doing. And it's these conversations for me are just like soul filling. Like I can't even express what it means to me to have this conversation with you, to just like reflect on our time together and to witness you as the woman that you are, because you are so different than the woman that I met 2 years ago. Like, yeah. I am so proud of you. And I hope that you are just so incredibly proud of yourself.
I am fucking proud of myself. I really am. I've come so far, like thinking back, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, thinking back on 2 years ago, who I was when I didn't even really know that this space existed, coaching existed, and being where I am now. Like, it is just insane how much you can grow when you put in the work and you have the support.
Yeah. And in such a short period of time, I mean, 2 years in your life, it can feel long. And you know that sometimes in those moments where it feels like nothing is working, it feels like the days are just like never ending. But 2 years in the span of your life is literally just a blip on the radar. And you've become a completely different woman, like just completely different from who you used to be. In your life for every year moving forward now will just continue to be better and better and better, because you care so much about continuing to improve yourself on that level, which is what it's all about. We want to feel happiness and fulfillment in our lives, and we're busy chasing the things, but it's about what you're doing, which is improving yourself and finding purpose and passion in what you're doing every day. And my hope is that these kind of conversations inspire the women who are listening, who are like, I want to feel proud of myself. I want to be doing something that I love every day. I want to be making a difference in the world. I hope that it inspires them to take the step towards that, because in 2 years, your life could be completely different and you could be living and walking in the purpose that you know you're meant for.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's just like one decision, putting one foot in front of the other, one decision. That's how we stack it, you know?
Yep. One step at a time. That's all we can do, because when we think too much about the big picture, we lose sight of like, oh, what do I do first? And we become overwhelmed. It's just literally one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. That's how I've gotten here. And that's how I know my clients are leading themselves, because they're just doing what's right in front of them. And when they get there, they'll take the next step.
Yeah.
I love it. So I know you said when we were talking on Instagram that you had a celebration that you wanted to share with me. So I want you to share that. And then I will ask you one more question before we wrap up.
Okay. I'm so curious what you think it is.
I have no idea.
So I have recently been building out my product suite, and that is sometimes terrifying, like when you're thinking about creating new offers and going down that road. And one of the offers that I created was a very low ticket, $33, like come in 3-day workshop. I'm going to teach you how to do 2 things really powerfully. And not only did I double my sign up goal for it, which is a celebration within itself, but the bigger thing was just how I had this really, I don't even know what to call it, like this epiphany of, oh my gosh, there are so many people who are coming into this space who are just starting their business. And this is going to be the thing that changes their life. And really thinking about, that's how Jess probably felt when she offered her $77 no secrets. I think it was a masterclass.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it was just this beautiful, like full circle moment, and really realizing how monumental this work is. And just, I mean, we've been talking about this already, like just really seeing the impact that we can have and how we really help people literally change their life, have no business and then start a business and then have a successful business. And it was just full circle. And I just had to share it with you because I was like, oh my gosh, the nostalgia of all of it. I can't take it.
Literally, that's how things started for you and so many other women in the Spark Mastermind. It started with, I just know I'm made for more and I want to do something with this and I'm not sure what I want to do with it. Signing up for a Q&A. It was literally just to ask me anything around business and I will answer it. And then from there, you guys were in programs in the mastermind. And here 2 years later, after that $77 investment, your lives are literally like incomparable to what they were before. And I think that's just such evidence of how one single decision can be the catalyst for many different decisions. Like, had you not made that choice, doesn't mean you wouldn't be in business today, but how different things may have looked for you. Do you know what I mean? And I think that if we feel like we want to do something, fear will try and talk us out of it every single time. We have to be brave enough to say, I know I want this. I'm going to do it, whether I'm fearful of it or not, because the last thing I want for my life, I want to look back and feel regret of not having done something that I know could have changed my life.
Yeah, absolutely. And you helped me tap into that too, like just being that fearless woman who just, she creates what she wants, you know?
Yes, I wish I could hug you. I just wish we could be back at the retreat in Arizona in the pool together, just like drinking a margarita that somebody made for us and handed to us, and like eating too much chips and salsa and just living our best lives. Nicole, I love you so much. You know that. And the work that we have done together has just, I know when I look at you and when I speak with you, how much I have helped you improve your life. And that for me is like, there's not enough words in the world to express how that makes me feel, honestly.
How many times are we going to cry here? Yeah, I've said it a million times and I will never get tired of telling you, you changed my life.
This for me is like, if you're a woman listening right now who is a coach or aspires to be a coach, this is the side of coaching that this is more rewarding than any dollar in my bank account. And I don't think that people understand that. And if you give yourself the opportunity to be the leader for yourself that you want to be in your life, you can literally help people change their entire lives just because you decided to show up for yourself. And like these kinds of conversations, how lucky are we to have? I will remember you for the rest of my life. And I know you will remember me for the rest of your life. To have these relationships is just, it's priceless. It means so much to me. And I'm so grateful, truly.
I am too.
Okay. So one final question before we wrap up this conversation. I could talk to you, I feel like, for hours. So like I could do this all day. So if there was someone right now who is on the fence of working with me, whether that's in the business space, the emotional eating space, the mindset space, because we've worked together on all of those things, and they're maybe on the fence about it, they're nervous about the investment, they're wondering, does working with Jessica actually work? What would you say to her?
Oh my gosh. Does it work? Well, hell yeah. What I would say seriously is it's normal to feel that fear, and it's more about us as women. Like when we're fearful of investing, it's more of a question about, do I trust myself? Right? We think it's about, do I trust this person? But it's really about ourselves. And so I could say, if you can just tap into that intuition, like you're knowing that you want Jess to be a part of your journey, you can 1,000,000% trust that she is going to hold you so powerfully through it, and your life will never be the same.
I'm like, cue the tears for the final time. That was absolutely, absolutely beautiful. And this is a question that I've been asking at the end of every episode, but the common thing that comes up is it's normal to feel the fear, but also so much of what you said of, it's not even necessarily about the financial investment. A lot of the times it's the lack of trust within ourselves and the wondering, like, will I show up? Like, sure, Jessica will show up for me. It's her job, but will I show up for myself? And when we don't trust ourselves to show up for ourselves, I believe such evidence that you could really use some mindset coaching, because there should be no other person in this world that you trust more than you trust yourself. We deserve to be women who have our own backs through everything in life. And when you have that, when you trust yourself, life is so different.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is the three things that I think no matter what people are coming into your world for, like they are going to leave with more self-trust and more self-confidence and more self-belief. And it's all about they're creating that internally because of the work that you will do with them, for sure.
Thank you so much. I love you and appreciate you. And I know this conversation is going to inspire so many women to go after what they want in their lives, because you are such evidence that you can achieve anything that you want for yourself and you can become a completely different person. And I'm just so, so proud of you.
Fuck yeah.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Join Jessica with my client, Nicole. If you want to connect with her, I will put her social media in the show notes of this episode. 10 out of 10 recommend. She is a beautiful, beautiful human. Nicole, thank you for being here. I love you guys so much. And I will talk to you on the next episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. See ya.